Rachel Hoffman was supposed to buy drugs and walk away. Instead, she was found dead in a ditch 50 miles from home. The 23-year-old Florida State graduate had been working as a police informant for just 2 months when everything went catastrophically wrong during what was supposed to be a simple controlled buy. What happened in those final hours? And why was an untrained college graduate sent into one of the most dangerous situations imaginable? This is the story of Rachel Hoffman, a 23-year-old woman whose life was cut short in a botched police operation that exposed the dark underbelly of confidential informants. Join me as we unravel the threads of her life, her death, and the law that bears her name. But before we dive in, some of the details in this story are disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. Alright, let's dive into the video.
She could be anyone's daughter, even yours, just out of college and caught with marijuana.
But she did not get a slap on the wrist or jail time. She got an offer from the police. Chief Investigative Correspondent Brian Ross with a police sting that went very wrong.
Tallahassee, Florida, the state capital, home to Florida State University, where palm trees sway under sunny skies by day, but at night, the city takes on a different hue. It's a place where college life buzzes with energy, but beneath the surface, a quieter, more insidious world thrives. The world of drugs, dealers, and desperate deals. In 2008, this was the backdrop for Rachel Hoffman's final act. Rachel was born on December 17, 1984, in Clearwater, Florida, a coastal town known for its beaches and laid-back vibe. From the start, she was a bundle of contradictions, vibrant, adventurous, yet deeply empathetic. Her parents, Irv Hoffman and Margie Weiss, divorced when she was young, but they co-parented with love, splitting time between homes. Irv, a mental health counselor whose own parents were Holocaust survivors, instilled in her a sense of resilience and compassion. Margie, a registered nurse and massage therapist, nurtured her creative side. As a child, Rachel was a whirlwind of activity. She danced ballet, joined the Brownies, rode horses, and even competed to be a little mermaid at Weeki Wachee Springs, a kitschy Florida attraction where performers swim in mermaid tails. Music was her passion. She played the flute and piano, her fingers dancing across keys like she danced through life. High school at Countryside High brought the typical teenage rebellions. She earned the unofficial title of party animal among friends, but she balanced it with genuine kindness. Friends remember her as the one who always checked in, who cooked elaborate meals for gatherings, turning simple dinners into feasts. College at Florida State University was where Rachel truly blossomed. She majored in psychology, drawn to understanding the human mind, perhaps influenced by her father's work and her grandparents' traumas. She hiked the Grand Canyon, skydived for thrills, and attended music festivals, losing herself in the rhythms of jam bands like the Grateful Dead. She had a cat she adored, even creating a faux Facebook profile for it in those early social media days. But like many young adults, Rachel dabbled in the edges of rebellion. She smoked marijuana occasionally, and sometimes sold small amounts to friends, not as a hardened dealer, but as a casual participant in the college scene. By 2007, Rachel's life was on an upward trajectory. She graduated with her bachelor's degree and was accepted into a master's program in mental health counseling. Dreams of culinary school in Arizona loomed large. She envisioned herself as a chef, blending her love of food with therapy, perhaps creating programs for those in recovery. But fate, or perhaps a series of poor choices, intervened. It started small. On February 22, 2007, during a routine traffic stop for speeding, police found about 25 grams of cannabis in her car. It wasn't a massive haul, but enough to land her in drug court supervision, a diversion program meant to rehabilitate rather than incarcerate. She entered a substance abuse program, but a failed drug test sent her to jail for 3 days. It was a wake-up call, but not enough to steer her completely clear. Then came the raid. On April 17, 2008, Tallahassee Police Department officers searched her apartment on a tip. What they found? 151.7 grams of cannabis, about 5 ounces, and 4 ecstasy pills. To Rachel, it might have seemed like a personal stash gone awry, but to the law, it screamed intent to distribute. She faced serious charges: possession with intent to sell, maintaining a drug house, and more. Prison loomed, a terrifying prospect for a young woman with no prior violent history. In the interrogation room, the pressure mounted. Officers painted a grim picture. Years behind bars, her dreams shattered. But there was an out. Become a confidential informant. Help us bust bigger fish, they said, and we'll make the charges disappear. Rachel, scared and naive, agreed. She became CI number 1129, thrust into a world she barely understood. No training, no experience with hard drugs or guns, just a promise of leniency. Her first assignments were small. She targeted a campus dealer, but police wanted more: heroin, cocaine, crack, ecstasy, firearms. Rachel, whose experience was limited to weed and occasional party pills, was out of her depth. She confided in friends about the stress, but kept the details secret. Her boyfriend at the time received texts from her, laced with anxiety. "This is scary," she'd say. What Rachel didn't know was that she was stepping into a system that viewed informants as disposable, throwaways, as one article aptly called them. In the war on drugs, CIs are the foot soldiers, often untrained civilians sent into danger with little backup. Budget cuts meant fewer resources. Pressure for busts meant cutting corners. Rachel, with her youth and inexperience, was the perfect pawn. Before we continue on, if you are enjoying the video so far, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't like it, let me know down in the comments. Your support truly means everything. All right, back to the video. It was May 7th, 2008, a date that would etch itself into history. Police had identified 2 suspects, Danilo Bradshaw, 23, and Andrea Green, 25, sometimes referred to as Dre. Both were convicted felons, recently fired from their jobs at a car detailing shop. They weren't kingpins, but mid-level dealers with a history of violence. The plan: Rachel would buy 1,500 ecstasy pills, 1.5 ounces of cocaine, later adjusted to 2.5 ounces in some reports, and 2 handguns, a semi-automatic among them. The buy-bust would use $13,000 in marked bills, with Rachel wired for sound. The operational and raid plan involved 19 agents, including DEA surveillance from a plane overhead. Rachel met her handler, investigator Ryan Pender, at TPD headquarters around 6 p.m. She was wired, a device hidden in her purse, and given the cash. To calm her nerves, she blasted jam band music in her silver 2005 Volvo as she drove to Forest Meadows Park. Text to her boyfriend: "I just got wired up. Good luck, babe. It's about to go down." But from the start, things went wrong. Rachel pulled into the wrong entrance of the park. Ryan Pender redirected her over the phone. The suspects arrived in a stolen silver BMW. Then, the change. They wanted to move the meet to Gardner Road, a dead-end street in a rural part of Leon County. Pender ordered her not to follow. Turn around. Do not follow them." But Rachel, perhaps panicked or pressured, did anyway. The wire crackled with static. Communication faltered due to technical issues. At 6:46 p.m., surveillance lost her. I lost her over the wire," an officer reported. Police swarmed the area, but it was too late. At the end of Gardner Road, they found signs of struggle. Rachel's black reef flip-flop, scattered ammunition, a spent .25 caliber round. Her Volvo was gone, along with the suspect's BMW. What happened next is pieced together from witness accounts and confessions. Bradshaw and Green, sensing something off, searched Rachel's purse and found the wire. Panic set in. It was a setup from their end, too. Andrea Green later confessed they planned to swap the ecstasy for aspirin and rob her of the cash. But discovery of the wire escalated everything. They forced her into the BMW, drove to the isolated spot. Rachel cried out for help as they shot her 5 times in the chest and head, with the very gun she was there to buy. Her body was wrapped in her Grateful Dead sweatshirt and an orange and purple sleeping bag, then dumped in a ravine off a dirt road near Perry, Florida, in Taylor County. A witness had seen the BMW stuck in a ditch around 7 to 7:30 p.m., with Rachel's idling Volvo nearby. The killers fled, but not for long. The search for Rachel was agonizing. Her parents, alerted by friends when she didn't respond to calls, contacted police. Officers initially stonewalled, not revealing her CI status. Irv and Margie scoured the city, posting flyers, calling hospitals. The media picked up the story. Missing woman headlines. But behind the scenes, police knew more. It took 36 hours, until May 9th, for her body to be found, shrouded and discarded like trash. The community reeled. Rachel's friends flooded her apartment, shocked by initial reports framing her as a drug dealer rather than a victim. She was so much more, one said. The Tallahassee Democrat covered it extensively, as did national outlets like ABC's 2020 and NBC's Dateline. A grand jury investigation condemned the TPD, 21 policy violations, including insufficient manpower, violating their own rules by including guns in the buy, and sending an untrained civilian into harm's way. Letting a young, immature woman get into a car by herself with $13,000 was an unconscionable decision that cost Ms. Hoffman her life. Danilo Bradshaw and Andrea Green were arrested on armed robbery charges, then upgraded to first-degree murder. The trial was swift and damning. On December 17, 2009, Danilo Bradshaw's 25th birthday, he was convicted of first-degree murder with robbery and sentenced to life without parole, plus 30 years concurrently. Andrea Green, on November 11, 2010, pleaded no contest to second-degree murder and robbery with a firearm, also receiving life without parole. Both rot in prison, but for Rachel's family, justice felt hollow. The officers involved? Suspended with pay initially. Ryan Pender was fired but later reinstated, now patrolling Collegetown. Chief Dennis Jones initially blamed Rachel. At some point, she chose not to follow instructions. Outrage ensued. The family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, settling for $2.6 million in 2012, along with a public apology from the city. But from this darkness came light, or at least reform. Rachel's parents channeled their grief into advocacy. With attorney Lance Block, they lobbied for change. On May 7, 2009, exactly 1 year after her death, the Florida Senate passed Rachel's Law, the nation's first to protect confidential informants. Effective July 1, 2009, it mandates special training for officers on recruiting and handling CIs. No promises of reduced sentences without supervisory approval. Informants must be told they can request a lawyer before agreeing. Agencies must consider factors like age, emotional state, substance abuse history, and mental health. Periodic reviews of CI policies. Restrictions on using juveniles or those in drug court without safeguards. Before Rachel's Law, Florida had no uniform rules. Agencies often exploited the vulnerable. Now, it's a model nationwide. States like North Dakota followed with Andrew's Law in 2017 after similar tragedies. TPD and Leon County Sheriff's Office overhauled their protocols. Better background checks, coordination with prosecutors, limiting CIs to their knowledge scope. No more sending pot users after cocaine kings or guns. Irv Hoffman still calls Ryan Pender annually, seeking closure that never comes. It feels painful, he says. Margie heads the Rachel Morningstar Foundation, educating at festivals. Rachel is evidence that working as a CI can cost you your life. They push for stronger laws, felony penalties for violations, statewide databases for CI injuries and deaths. In 2015, They proposed expansions, but they stalled. The fight continues. 10 years on, in 2018, reflections poured in. Irv visits her memorial, prays, and attends concerts in her honor. Margie sifts through the dirt at Gardner Road, haunted by shotgun shells. Professor Alexandra Nadapoff, an expert on informants, notes the case shocked America. It made parents aware that their college kids could be pressured into this dangerous role. Rachel Hoffman's story isn't just a murder. It's a mirror to a broken system. In the war on drugs, informants are the throwaways, sacrificed for stats and busts. Budgets shrink, risks rise, and lives like Rachel's pay the price. Her law saves others, but at what cost? As we close this chapter, remember, behind every statistic is a human story. A young woman who loved dancing, cooking, and living. Gone too soon. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then check out these videos on the screen now. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing stranger than this story is missing out on our next video.